Hello everybody, my name is Raj Wadhwani. I'm the president of ContactCenterWorld.com, and it gives me great pleasure to present to you today working from home and to share a few tips. Now, you don't have to look far to realize that the world is changing. Look at the headlines. Many of us are being forced to work from home because of the effect of the coronavirus or other epidemics. It's a reality. We've got to get used to it. And if you're not already working from home and you're considering it, this presentation may give you a few ideas to help you on your journey. The agenda I'm going to be covering in the next few minutes will include the following: experiences of working from home, setting up your workspace, how to plan for your workday, staying in touch with colleagues in your office, and I'll finish with a summary of tips. If you don't know about Contact Center World, here's a few bullet points just to recap who we are. We're the world's largest association in the contact center space. We have well over 200,000 members in 200 countries. We've been in existence now for 21 years, and our headquarters is based in Canada, but we have staff all over the world. We're the place that professionals in the contact center and customer engagement space go to find out ideas, best practices, share information, network, and also get inspiration. In this section, we're going to talk about real-life experiences of working from home, and I'm going to talk about my own personal experience. Just look at this slide for a minute. Everybody has a different perception when you say you work from home. Actually, my team and I work very, very hard. We're very dedicated, and it's actually a real joy to work from home, and I'll cover some key points in the next few slides. We've been operating a work at home program now for 13 years, and the driver for us was reducing costs and actually increasing productivity and flexibility for our employees. So now we have staff all around the world who could communicate, collaborate, exchange ideas across multiple different time zones, and we can actually deliver a world-class service from multiple locations without having regional offices because we all work from home. And yes, it really does work. Here are some of the good things about working from home. Many of us used to go to work even if we were feeling a little unwell at times. Maybe we had a cold or flu symptoms. And what that resulted in was many of us passing on that to other colleagues. We don't have that issue anymore. Sure, we still get sick from time to time through friends and families and interactions outside of work, but workplace sickness has gone away. We don't pass on our germs to other colleagues because we're all distributed. We have much greater flexibility now. We can plan our own days. When the sun's shining and we want to go out with the kids or take the dogs out, we can plan for that. If it's raining and we want to do a bit more work, we can plan for that. If you want to go down the gym in the middle of the day and do a workout, you can plan for that. We have much greater flexibility to do the things that are important to us in our lifestyle. By going to a work at home model as well, it actually gives the company greater access to employees because we're all used to working a non-traditional 9 to 5 work hours. What that means is that sometimes on weekends or evenings, if I need to get hold of somebody, I don't have to worry about contacting them because we're all used to being in contact at strange hours. So from the company perspective, we have much greater access to employees. In the past, when people clocked off at 5 o'clock or 5:30, it was almost impossible to get hold of them. Now, it's a lot easier, and they can also get hold of us when they need to as well. We have significantly lower overheads. We don't have an office. We don't need an office. We never had customers visiting us, and we don't these days, so we actually go and visit our customers, and we do everything online, or we do it through our own conferences and events. We don't have travel costs anymore. We reduce our carbon footprint because we're not chucking fumes and gases into the air anymore by travelling in cars. We have the financial benefit of not having to run a car all the time and paying for gas or petrol in the vehicles and maintenance. Maybe we don't need a car anymore. And we have no issues with weather. I live in Canada, and sometimes we can get a foot of snow. Sometimes the buses, the roads are blocked. The buses aren't running. The roads are blocked because of the weather. You can't get out. Hey, I can still go to work. It's fantastic. I've never missed a day through weather. And also, another benefit is it's less stressful on staff. They don't have to worry about their boss or their colleagues peering over their shoulder to see what they're doing. They have much greater flexibility. But there have been some challenges. In the early days, technology wasn't that great, and sometimes we would find that we were trying to communicate. So technology is really, really important. And if you need to be able to communicate, and make sure you have technology that works. It hasn't always been great though. Let's talk about some of the challenges we faced. In the early days, technology infrastructure wasn't as good as it is today. Internet was slower, so trying to communicate was harder. But as technology improves and the ability to communicate improves, those challenges have been going away. Sure, we get interruptions. Kids, pets, the mailman, other people just pulling up, friends, family. There's lots of interruptions that can occur. But likewise, interruptions can occur at work when you've got colleagues coming in interrupting you or bothering you. So some of the challenges still are there, but they're different. There can be a feeling of isolation. Sometimes when you want to talk to somebody and they're not there, you can't get hold of them, you can feel isolated. But we kind of get used to it. And we have lost a few staff along the way who weren't very good at adapting to this flexible home working type of environment. But we can do it. We've done it for 13 years and we're very, very successful at it. So I'm going to talk about setting up your workspace, and I'll talk about the workspace that I have here in front of me as well as we do it. It's not like this. It's not just lying on a pillow with your laptop working. That's not what it's all about. We all set up professional working environments. I actually have an office in my home. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about setting up the work environment. So first tip, if you can do it, is set up a separate room that you can designate as your office. And this is your workspace. Make sure you equip it with the equipment that you would have at work, like a proper desk or chair, just like an office. In my case, I don't have a chair. I actually have an adjustable desk, so I can actually adjust it to a standing height, and that's what I do. That's my choice. Get a good headset with a microphone, just like the one I'm using. There are lots available on the marketplace. Put up posters, maybe pictures, clocks. If you look behind me, I've got clocks to tell me different time zones. So if I'm communicating with colleagues, I know what time it is in their country. I've got some pictures, I've got some posters, things that I've done that motivate me. I've got a separate phone line, so I have a work phone line and a personal phone line. The work one I know always takes priority. Consider setting up separate internet. It's actually good practice if you can get internet from two different providers, so you have your home internet for yourself and your family, and then you have a different internet provider maybe for your business. So if one of them ever goes, if your business one ever goes down, you can switch to your home one. You can still work, and you've got some redundancy, and you're keeping everything separate. As I mentioned earlier, if you've got a separate room, you want a place where you can actually close the door and shut yourself off from all the distractions that may happen at home. And you want to limit those distractions. So if you're on phone calls with customers, let everybody in your household know you're going to be on phone calls with customers, so they don't make a noise. Or if you've got pets, there'll be anyone else in the house will know that maybe keep the pets a bit quiet at that time. Set up a webcam, just like I've got here. It's fantastic for communicating with your colleagues. They can see you, you can see them. You may or may not want to set up an environment, so if you have got a webcam, make it look professional behind you. As I said, I've got pictures, I've got world clocks behind me, and a few other things. I need to keep my area tidy. Consider height adjustable desks. This is becoming very fashionable these days. And consider multiple screens to increase productivity. I actually have a massive screen here. It's like 42 inches and it's split into 4 screens. I used to have 4 screens set up, 4 independent screens, and now I've just got one massive one that's split into 4, so I can actually multitask at the same time, and it increases productivity. In summertime it can get a bit warm, so consider fans or portable air conditioning units. You can even buy USB fans that just plug into your computer, so you can just have a nice stream of steady cool air in summertime. And use tools like Skype for calls between staff. You don't always want to see those people, but maybe you want to just use Skype. You can see when you're online, you can communicate, and you can then start calls. And you can also use Skype to actually have calls between yourself and customers. So it's a very cost-effective way to communicate. Share data in the cloud wherever possible, so that you can all collaborate and work on the same projects at the same time. Now, planning for your workday, this is really important to get in the right frame of mindset. So let me talk to you a little bit about some things that you can do to help you be more productive and be successful working from home. First thing I'd say is dress as if you're going to work. It's no good trying to come to work in your PJs, pajamas, casual clothes, because if you have that mindset that you just get out of bed and you're going to go and sit at your computer, you're not in a working mindset. You're still like, you got to make that change just as if you're going to work. I don't mean, if you used to go to the office and you used to wear a suit and tie, you don't need to do that at home, but just dress differently, change your clothes, get into a different mindset so that you actually now going to work. Get into a routine if you can. Try and start at the same time each and every day. Routines work. And also, throughout your day, because you're working at home, plan in time to do other activities. For example, maybe time to walk the dog or play with the kids. Maybe schedule regular coffee breaks. Just like when you're at work in an office, you're going to have regular breaks. Set up those things at home, but do things that also make you feel good. Things that will make you feel motivated that you're actually working from home and it's a real joy to be at home. If you're in an office space of your own, close the door so everybody knows that you're working and not to disturb you. Keep your area very tidy. And later on I'm going to share some pictures about my work environment so you can get some idea about the things that I do. But you want to keep it organized. Imagine your boss coming in and just checking out your work area. He or she wants to see a very nice, organized, tidy person. So just maintain the same standards at home as if you're in an office. And consider doing stretching exercises. There's lots of exercises to help you get rid of repetitive strain injuries. Stretching your hands, doing other things that you might do when you're in a work environment and your company may have a policy of health at work. Take those same principles back to your own office, your home office, so that you actually can reduce injuries at work. When you're working throughout the day, share reports online with colleagues and co-workers so that you can actually collaborate and keep everybody up to date. Still talk with people though to speed up understanding. What I find from my own personal experience is if I'm trying to communicate with somebody and we're doing text chat backwards and forwards, it can take significantly longer to get an understanding and a resolution to what we're trying to do. It's a lot easier just to start a quick voice call on Skype, have a chat and get to exactly what we need to very quickly. And it might also mean sharing screens and looking at things together and having a better understanding. Collaboration tools are really essential. So again, things like Skype and other tools allow you to share information and share what you're doing. And I use tools like Camtasia to sometimes record things that I'm doing so I can easily share those with people in other parts of the world so that even if I can't communicate at the same time as them, I can share videos of what I'm doing so that they know exactly the steps that I'm going through. When you're at home, please do control those distractions. If you've got dogs and kids and other people around you, let them know what you're doing when you're doing it so that you can control them and be professional. If you need breaks, take it. If you feel a bit tired, take some time out to rest. Don't try and push through. If you're not feeling well, sure, you're not going to spread your germs, but you still might need a break. So just do the things that you would normally do as if you're at home. Now I'm going to talk about staying in touch with your office, because this is really critical. You don't want that feeling of isolation, and likewise you don't want your boss to think, where are they? Where are you? What's happening? So we're going to talk a little bit about some ways just to stay in touch. It's good practice to let your team know when you are on and offline. If you're using something like Skype, you can activate it to say you're online or when you're offline. If you're going to go out for 30 minutes, maybe you're going to walk the dog, or you're going to go to the supermarket, or you're going to be on a long call with a customer. It just takes a minute just to send a quick update to everybody to say, hey, I'm going to be offline for 30 minutes. Give daily updates as well to everybody. Share information, collaborate, and make sure that you're passing information back to your organization on what you're doing. It's always good practice to stick with one communication channel. My preferred channel with my staff is Skype, but if I do need to get hold of them urgently, I know I have Messenger or WhatsApp if they're not online and I need to communicate. So always have a backup. And if your boss needs an update, please always be clear in your communication. It's nothing more frustrating than your boss asks you for information, you send a response, they then send a response back asking you to clarify what you just said, and you go backwards and forwards. So it's best to sometimes give a little bit more information, because they might not have a good understanding. And if you're working remotely and you're not talking, it's really important that they can understand exactly where you're at very quickly. Another good practice is, if you're using messaging tools like you're using Skype, always wait 2 minutes for replies. So if you send a reply to somebody and you don't hear back from them within, say, 2 minutes, then fine, maybe leave your desk, but don't just send a reply and then walk away from your desk. Especially when you're at home, people don't know what you're doing, and they might think you're ignoring them when something else might be going on. So it's always good just to wait a couple of minutes, and if you're going to walk away from your desk, just tell that person, look, I'll be right back. BRB, I'll be right back. Here's a summary of some tips that I hope that will be of value to you. So working from home can work really, really well. It can be very powerful, very beneficial to the organization and the individuals. But to make it work, set up a routine for yourself. Make sure that you're following a routine as best as possible. It doesn't mean to say you can't break it, but a routine will help you actually be more successful. Create an office-like environment. Act like a professional, and it will help you in your work. Stay in touch with the office all the time. Communicate. Tell everybody what you're doing, where you're at, and if you're going to be offline, that you're going to be offline or you're going to be away. Be flexible. Be prepared to be flexible in your hours. Sometimes something might happen at home and you need to deal with it. You might get a burst water pipe, or there might be a family emergency. So be flexible, that when you're working you do still have to deal with those situations, but maybe you need to catch up with some work a bit later on to make up for any lost time. Control distractions, really important, especially if you're dealing with customers. And lastly, enjoy the benefits of working at home. It's absolutely fantastic. I love it in the middle of winter when I see other people around me having to get in their cold cars and it's -20, -30. They've got to scrape away all the snow and they've got to drive to work. They're spending 30 minutes each way or an hour commuting. And I don't have that. I don't have that hassle. I can just enjoy the benefits and love working from home. So thank you for listening to my presentation. My name again is Raj Wadhwani. Thank you.